Let's recapitulate a little bit. Yesterday we discussed about acha dekha jacche amar presentation. Yes sir.
Yes, sir.
Yesterday we discussed about displacement transducer. They are categorized into three parts, three types: resistive transducer, then inductive transducer, all of these three, and capacitive transducer. All of these three can measure displacement or shortest distance between 2 points. Within resistive, the first one we will study is potentiometer. Then next one we'll study strain gauge. These two we will study. After that, in inductive transducer, we'll study LVDT. So this is how we will go. Resistive transducer means one property is changed such that the resistance of the material will change. That property which is changed is generally length. In both potentiometer and strain gauge, the length is changed. That causes change in resistance, which we will measure. So, and then we will say that if resistance change by this much, then it must be this much change in displacement. The second will be inductive transducer. Inductive transducer is generally uses the displacement of core, which will be translated into voltage difference. And capacitive transducer, in capacitive transducer, generally displacement of a variable capacitor plate is converted into changes in voltage or current. Well, remember one thing, the AC resistive transducer works in both AC and DC, but inductive and capacitive both only works in AC. They cannot work in DC. Now next part. So this is the short form, short note. Let's come to potentiometer. Potentiometer is the first type of resistive transducer. It is a passive transducer which works in both AC and DC. They can measure linear displacement. It is displacement along a straight line. And they can also measure rotary displacement, a displacement along a circular or elliptical path. Potentiometer is generally called pot. If you go to a shop and buy, it is called pot. The pot can have two parts, two types, can be of two types. Either is linear pot or lean pot, or is rotary pot. So linear pot will measure linear displacement. Rotary pot will measure rotary displacement. The pot has a sliding contact that is called a wiper. This is the wiper. This is the wiper. Here you have the wiper. The wiper is a conductor which touches somewhere on this wounded coil. So how is the system designed? There is an insulating substance or an insulating rod called mandrel. On mandrel, a coil is wound. A coil is actually a resistive material. So you take a rod, insulating rod, and then just cover it with a coil, wound a coil over it. Place a sliding contact like this. It's a sliding contact called wiper. The wiper has a arm like thing. That arm is called shaft. This shaft is either moved this way, right or left. As it moved right or left, this wiper will also move right and left over the coil. That will cause the resistance of the coil to change. And if you measure the resistance between, say, this end and this end, while you connect a battery to this end, you will find this resistance keeps on changing. The maximum resistance will happen when this wiper has come here. You will get maximum resistance. But when the wiper comes here, you will get 0 ohms, the minimum resistance. Similarly, in rotary pot, instead of a straight line or straight mandrel, the mandrel is like a circle, or you can call it toroid. It's a toroidal mandrel. The shaft is this one. You can rotate the shaft in either direction. Instead of the shaft traveling left or right, the shaft can be rotated. On the head of the shaft, there is a wiper. You can move the wiper. As you move the shaft, the wiper moves. And when the wiper moves, the resistance varies. So if this point is the minimum and this point is the maximum, say 10 kilo ohms, for a linear pot, then for a circular pot, you will have this point is minimum or 0 ohms. And after one turn, the wiper will come here. Then it will be say maximum. This is a one turn rotary pot. So that's the first thing. So you have 2 pots. And the third one which we have is a combination of linear pot and rotary pot. The combination of linear and rotary pot is called helipot. It is a combination of helix and potentiometer. How it works? It uses a rotary mandrel, but instead the mandrel forms a helix, and the shaft is connected with a screw. The shaft connected with a screw. When you rotate the screw, the shaft rotates along, the wiper rotates along with it, and slowly it goes inside. So a helical pot have more than one turn. But a rotary pot has one turn. So since there are more than one turn in helipot, it is more sensitive. Helipot is more sensitive than rotary pot or linear pot. This you should remember. So let's come to the next point. So let's see what we have covered. Pot is a passive transducer. Oh, remember this point. Every potentiometer has a specific power rating. If you go to a shop and buy a general potentiometer, its power rating is generally less than 1 watt. If you have some specialized requirement, you can go up to 10 watts. But more the wattage, the heavier will be the pot. So if a pot is very heavy, it will require more force to move. Comes the advantage and disadvantage. Potentiometer. Why we prefer potentiometer? First, they are not that costly. They're inexpensive, and it's one of the cheapest transducer available. Secondly, the circuitry is very simple. You don't need specific amplifiers or specific comparators or something like that. You just connect a pot. The pot will act as a voltage divider. So as the pot moves, the voltage changes, you measure the voltage and you get the displacement. So it can directly convert displacement into voltage. Third, their electrical efficiency is very high. That means if you increase the voltage and change the position on the pot, the output voltage will keep on increasing. Therefore, you have more options. If you increase the input voltage more, the output voltage will change more. You have heli pot, which are more sensitive, but whatever it is, you can have lean pot, you can have rotary pot, or you can have heli pot. In all the cases, you don't need external amplifier. So circuitry is more simple. Then you have one more advantageous point. That is, generally the new form of potentiometer, they use roller contacts. This type of potentiometers don't have frequency limitation, so you can use them up to whatever frequency you want. But only the wire wound pots have limited frequency response. Wire wound potentiometer. কেউ কিছু বলবে? Last is resolution. In wire wound potentiometer, the wire which you are putting over the mandrel, they need to be spread out a little bit to prevent getting short circuited, and also to prevent magnetic field getting developed when AC is passed through it. In those cases, if you keep it far away, you require more length of mandrel. That's why wire wound potentiometer are generally very high. Generally very large or bulky in length. But if you want to reduce the length, go for other type. The other type are generally metal frame potentiometer. They have a very good resolution. It's very much higher than wire wound potentiometer. And disadvantage, as I told you, if you need more current, your lean pot will be more heavier. In general, even if you see that the potentiometer available in market, they require sufficient amount of force to move. So they are the wipers or the sliding contacts that require more force. Hence, this is one of the disadvantage. Like you need to make your force that you need to get a force because of the displacement to be large enough to move the slider. Secondly, the surface can get contaminated, wear out, or misaligned. That means with time, due to settlement of dust, contaminant, or even water, especially during rainy season, the wire may get corroded, the wiper junction may get corroded, the shaft may even get misaligned because of very bad handling. That's why that's another disadvantage. That's why we don't prefer to use pot anymore. But they also have a limited life. They get easily damaged. But recent roller contact type pots have more life. That covers our potentiometer. Now comes strain gauge. Previously I said this formula for resistance. If somehow you increase or decrease the length, or you compress the area, you can change resistance. So this principle is used to measure strain. আচ্ছা কি আমাকে বলতে পারবে what is strain? Strain কাকে বলে? Anybody? What is strain?
Sir, strain is certain deformation.
এই তো স্যান্টন বলবে কিছু।
Deformation কোনো
স্যান্টন
substance যখন আমরা হ্যালো স্যার কানায় শুনে যাচ্ছে? হ্যালো হ্যালো
স্যান্টন আবার বলো।
শোনা যাচ্ছে স্যার? হ্যালো
হ্যাঁ হ্যালো, এবার শোনা যাচ্ছে, বলো।
কোনো সাবস্টেন্সে যখন আমরা কোনো ফোর্স অ্যাপ্লাই করি, ওখানে যে ডিফর্মেশনটা হয় ওটাকে স্ট্রেন বলা হয়।
ওকে, force applied on a substance, this will cause the substance to deform, that is strain. Very good. So only this thing we can use. So we apply force on a metal, the metal will deform. Once the metal deform, we call it strain. But when the metal deform, its resistance also changes, and this resistance can be used for measurement of strain. So we have strain, and now we convert it to resistance. So the effect, this type of effect is called piezoresistive effect. Why? Because resistive. Another thing is, not all metal will have this be affected by this kind of changes. Some crystals which have these piezo properties show resistive effect. But remember, although the piezo property is there, it's not a active transducer. It's still a resistive and passive transducer. Just the name is there. So what is the strain gauge used for? For stress analysis. Strain gauge, remember, strain gauge can be used as primary and secondary transducer. But in these cases, I have still not found the primary transducer usage for strain gauge. Let's see we have it or not. No. So these are the ways where strain gauge can form a secondary transducer. Load cell, torque meter, diaphragm of pressure gauge, temperature sensor, accelerometer, and flow meters. So remember any 2-3 of this? I may ask. There are two major application of strain gauge. One is stress analysis. I told you before, stress analysis. Second is force. Why? If you apply force, you get deformation, and that is what strain gauge will convert from mechanical to electrical. Torque is rotational force. Pressure, it is also a force applied on an area. Flow is a force through a cross-section area. Acceleration transducer, where you measure acceleration. Why? Acceleration can be converted into force by a mass or a weight. So basically everything like force, torque, pressure, flow, acceleration, these are all converted into force, which give rise to deformation, which will give rise to strain, and this will be converted to electrical current or voltage. Remember some of the materials that are used: nickel, manganese, nichrome, constantan, soft iron, platinum, carbon, and doped crystal. This one, the doped crystal, these are semiconductor strain gauge. These are very new. Now comes advantage and disadvantage. Strain gauge, this is the first advantage. Your stress may be or strain may be low, very small, in the order of 1 to 100 micrometer, but this will be picked up by your strain gauge. Later we will come to something called a strain gauge factor. That means although this is small, but your strain gauge output electrical voltage or current or electrical resistance, specifically resistance changes, will be very high. That means, say for instance, 1 to 10 micrometer may give up to resistance change of say 100 or say 100 ohms or say 1 kilo ohms changes. Second is hysteresis. Hysteresis, if your strain is in order of micro, it is micro strain. Remember, I mean, yeah, strain is in order of micro range, because actually strain formula keu jano? Strain unit ki?
Strain is unitless.
Unitless. So it should, আমি একটা ভুল লিখেছিলাম এখানে, মাইক্রোমিটার লিখেছিলাম, it should be micron. যদি 10 to the power of 6 এর অর্ডারে থাকে এই ইউনিটলেস কোয়ান্টিটি, তাহলে ওটাকে বলা হয় মাইক্রোস্ট্রেন। and strain gauge can measure microstrain. আর একটা জিনিস হচ্ছে strain gauge এ hysteresis characteristics খুব ভালো, that means it has low hysteresis. hysteresis আমি বলেছিলাম, কি বলেছিলাম কার মনে আছে? hysteresis কি? hysteria, that means living in the past. তোমার যতই তোমার চেঞ্জ হোক, তুমি পুরনো থেকে বেরোতে পারবে না। হিস্টেরিসিস হচ্ছে সেরামই জিনিস, ম্যাটেরিয়ালের হিস্ট্রিয়া ঘটে, মানে they remember their last value and that's how their property changes. Hysteresis কম মানে it forgets the old incidents quickly, that means it will forget এর আগে কি ছিল না ছিল, and that we want. তার মানে যখনই তুমি যত ফাস্টে তুমি স্ট্রেন চেঞ্জ করো, it will respond, আউটপুট কনভার্সন হবে। fatigue কি জিনিস? কে বলতে পারো fatigue কি জিনিস? কি হলো আজ এত চুপচাপ? কারোর উত্তর আছে fatigue কি জিনিস? fatigue মানে to get tired. আর ম্যাটেরিয়ালের ক্ষেত্রে একবার ফ্যাটিক হওয়া মানে they get permanently deformed. They get permanently deformed, মানে ওদের প্রপার্টি চেঞ্জ হয়ে যায়, এরপর তুমি যাই খুশি করো না কেন কিচ্ছু হবে না। তখন around 10 to the power of 7 times you can use this material, and this is how fast you can change. In 1 second you can change the reading by 10 to the power of 12 times. Strain gauge are generally small in size. এটা semiconductor strain gauge, আর এটা সবাই জানো semiconductor is a current trend for IC technology. So strain gauge, semiconductor strain gauge means those strain gauge can be deployed as IC. So they are very strong, very small, 0.727 millimeter is less than 1 centimeter. So these are the advantage. What are the disadvantage? The main disadvantage, not with all, but with semiconductor strain gauge, is that when temperature changes, their output also keeps on changing. So they are sensitive to temperature change, and that can cause error. So be careful when using semiconductor strain gauge. One of them you will use probably is load cell, that is very popular for measuring weight. ওই জিমে যে ওয়েট মেশিন গুলো থাকে, ইলেকট্রনিক ওয়েট মেশিন, they all use load cell to measure weight. So above the load cell is a spring like thing with a strain gauge attached. Ultimately strain gauge output একটা analog digital converter থাকে, and it's calibrated to yield mass in kg. Strain gauge are also not linear over wide range, তার মানে একটা টাইম অবধি they will be linear. So input kg and output resistance, এটা কিছুক্ষণ লিনিয়ার থাকবে, ইনপুট কেজি বাড়ছে আউটপুটও বাড়ছে, but after that when it yields a nearby like nearly static near its fatigue stage, its output will tend to decrease. And strain gauge, especially the semiconductor strain gauge, is costly and it's not very easy to attach to an object. They require some epoxy. Generally when you are attaching a semiconductor gauge to a device, you need an epoxy, special epoxy, and those epoxies are very costly. So first your strain gauge is costly, then your epoxy is costly. So all in all, your instrument will become very costly. These are the side effects, or these are the disadvantages. Next we come to LVDT. LVDT তে যাওয়ার আগে আমার প্রশ্ন হচ্ছে, তোমরা এতক্ষণ কি শুনলে এবার আমাকে বলো। কে আছো লাইনে, বলো দেখি। চলো, তোমরা কি আদৌ আছো? You all are lost.
আছি স্যার।
মনে হচ্ছে কনফিউজ হয়ে গেছো। Should I continue আর তোমাদের কাছে কোয়েশ্চেন আছে? আরে এটা তো কেউ উত্তর দাও। মনে হচ্ছে ফোন অন করেছো, পালিয়ে গেছো নাকি?
স্যার হ্যালো।
হ্যালো, বলো। হ্যালো।
এর আগে মাত্র এই পোটেনশিওমিটার আর স্ট্রেন গেজের ডিসঅ্যাডভান্টেজ, অ্যাডভান্টেজ আর ডেফিনেশন, বাস এতটুকুই তো।
হ্যাঁ, আর ওই অ্যাপ্লিকেশন স্ট্রেন গেজের এই দুটো আছে, একটা হচ্ছে স্ট্রেস অ্যানালিসিস আর একটা হচ্ছে ফোর্স, টর্ক, প্রেসার, ফ্লো আর অ্যাক্সিলারেশন মাপার পদ্ধতি। ব্যাস, এই চ্যাপ্টারটাতে অ্যাকচুয়ালি এইটুকুই আছে, এন্ড আই ডোন্ট থিঙ্ক এর চেয়ে বেশি কিছু আছে কোথাও, মানে থ্রু আউট দ্য সিলেবাস, নট মোর দেন দিস। ফার্স্ট ডেফিনেশন, কিছু কিছু জায়গায় ইউ উইল হ্যাভ প্রিন্সিপালস, হাউ দ্য থিং ওয়ার্ক, প্রিন্সিপাল হচ্ছে হাউ দ্য থিং ওয়ার্ক। থার্ড হচ্ছে some examples, যদি material user, for instance এতে example material is nickel, manganese, nickel, and fourth is advantage and disadvantage. এই চারটে পার্ট প্রত্যেকটা ডিভাইসের have to know, that's it, এর চেয়ে বেশি কিছু নেই। তো এবার আমি তাহলে LVDT কন্টিনিউ করি।
ইয়েস স্যার।
Yes, sir.
ওকে, LVDT is a full নাম হচ্ছে linear variable differential transformer, is a inductive transducer. LVDT as well as inductive বলেছি মানে it should be passive transducer. এই ডায়াগ্রামটা যদি দেখো, there is one core, red দিয়ে যেটা দেখানো আছে, there is one green coil and there are two blue coils. এগুলো স্পেশাল কিছু না, জাস্ট কালার দিয়ে ইন্ডিকেট করেছি যে these are separate things, these are not all same things. So green coilটা কি, it is primary winding, যেখানে you will apply an AC voltage, say 100 volt relay. So there will be some output in both the secondary coils. This is the basic technical arrangement of LVDT. একটা core আছে, you have one coil for primary and you have two coils, one is called secondary 1, another is called secondary 2. This core can be moved in or moved out, that means it is either moved left মানে এদিকে নিয়ে যেতে পারো, or it can be pushed into, that is right এ মুভ করাতে পারো, depending on where it is. Some voltage from primary will be induced in secondary, মানে দুটো secondary তে you will have different voltages. Then after these two, these voltages, voltage in primary secondary 1 minus voltage in secondary 2 is measured. So if these voltage in secondary 1 and secondary 2 are equal, output voltage will be 0. That is called null. That means the coil didn't move anywhere. But if one of them is higher, like if say VS1 is higher than VS2, then coil has moved left. If VS2 is higher than VS1, coil has moved right. এগুলো আমরা ডিটেইলে এরপরে পড়বো। For that, just know one thing, the core is nickel iron. বাকি জিনিস বুঝতে পারলে ওকে, অ্যানিলিং ফ্যানিলিং কি করে করা হয়। It is a soft iron or hydrogen anneal nickel iron. Maximum books will say soft iron core, but some specialized or longevity requires hydrogen annealed nickel iron core. It is soft, but it is toughened iron core. This one will be tough. Okay, এই অবধি আপাতত আমি রাখছি, এরপরে আমি আর এগোচ্ছি না purposefully, because we will be studying this one in our lab class যেটা আজকে লাস্টে আছে, and we will try to complete this one, not specifically this point of view but experimental point of view তো আমরা কমপ্লিট করার চেষ্টা করব। ওকে, সো আপাতত আমি স্টপ করছি রেকর্ডিং।